Okay, so today we are going to do the flickies or the flickers, whatever you want to call them. These were a Barcrest machine or several Barcrest machines from a few years ago. I think the original one was called Take It or Leave It, which was a sort of Barcrest take on Deal or No Deal, and there were at least two clones. There was this one, which was called Count Your Cash. I think there was an Irish-themed one and maybe one other. There were certainly three, maybe even four of them. If you've never seen a real one, this is what they looked like. This is from a family video from a few years ago. I found a couple of these on the ferry from the Isle of Man. That was the hotel paid for, pretty much. So that's the Take It or Leave It on the left there. You can see that. And then on the right, and a straight clone, I guess they didn't know this when they cited these, that there on the right, that's the one that I will be playing, which is Count Your Cash. Exactly the same as that, which is Take It or Leave It on the left there. Now, I'm not going to do too much gassing up front on this because it's quite a slow machine to play. So I'm going to play this exactly as I played it in the wild, and including on the ferry and in the pubs around here. We had a few of these turn up in the pubs around here. So the first thing that you did was put £9 in and put it on 25p a go. The great thing about this machine is you literally could not lose more than £9 on it. That was your maximum exposure, was £9. It's like doing fruit machines for beginners, I guess. You know, like those older internet for dummies and, you know, like felching for dummies and all those books they used to do. This would be fruit machines for dummies in terms of simplicity. So you put £9 in, and on 25p a go, all you need to do is get on the board. Now, admittedly, I have just pumped this a little bit because I want to get it into a reasonable state for play so that you can see it go round twice. Now, this is not particularly fake because I had these go round several times in the wild. So this isn't an entirely unreasonable state for it to be in. But basically what you do, I mean, I could have already been on the feature. You can see there. So I already know it's ready. But in the wild, this is what you do. First of all, you would put £9 in, and you're just trying to get on the board. Now, if they were done, that they could play a little bit harder work. So that's fine. We know it's boarding. That's all it needs to do. You're not looking for any other sign apart from it boarding. So we'll kill that off. Now we'll lose the rest of this £9. And the problem, because this is quite happy, it's going to be giving me mega hints and trying to put me on the board and all that sort of thing. But again, not entirely unreasonable. I did often find these in the wild quite happy, and certainly once when they first turned up in the pubs around here, they were really tended to be in a very good mood. I think there was something weird going on them. It was like they had their normal sort of pot that they would pay out of in normal play, but it was almost like that they kept a second pot in reserve, completely hidden, that would never come out in normal play. So it was, if they weren't being done, you know what, I may have got this a little bit too happy. This is going to take a long time, I think. If they weren't being done by anyone else, these things really were like easy money makers. I had two in pubs near me. They both turned up at about the same time. Like I say, several years ago now, and a kind chap passed the method on to me and was able to hit them repeatedly for a couple of months. Then I think another player got onto them. I had them all to myself for a couple of months, and then somebody else got onto them. But managed to make some. I reckon I took a generous 4-figure sum. I reckon a couple of grand, £2.5 grand, something like that, out of two machines. Now, I've now lost £9. Now what I need to do, and this is why it can take a while, now I need to lose another £23. So let me put another £23 in. So, in total, now, oh, by the way, now, in the wild, if you put £9 in and you could not get on the board for £9 worth of credits, that was when you had to walk away. That meant it was being done. I think Barcrest made these to be very, very gentle. They're sort of very flat profile, and they're basically they're always boarding within £9. The only reason and the only time that they would not board within £9 was if somebody else was doing them. So, and it did happen to me on those machines that I had locally once. There was definitely me and at least one other player scrapping over them. And I did find one of those units once not boarding within £9, and that was when you just had to walk away, and that was when you took your £9 loss. Now, if you did get on the board within that £9, you are then guaranteed to get your money back, or maybe lose £1. So as you can see, this is it's a pretty gentle machine, and you know, I may actually pause the recording here because I don't want to do anything here apart from lose £32 worth of credits on 25p a go. I don't want the wins. I don't want the feature. I certainly don't want to collect anything. And I just want to lose this as quickly as possible. But you can see what I mean about it being quite a slow machine. This is possibly a bit over the top because I have lost a few bob on it before I've started playing, but it could be the same. It was the same when they were in the pub, and if you found them happy in the pub, sometimes the slowest bit about, or the hardest bit about it, was losing money. So it was a good machine to play this if you had a pint to get through, because you could get through a couple of pints or 2 or 3 pints while you were doing this. And the interesting thing here is that any collect of a win will break the method. So you think, oh well, why don't you just collect the pound or just collect a feature or something like that? It ceases to function because the setup on this is based on the number of credits that you play through it. You have to get through a certain number of credits without taking any win. And you can tell it's credit based because, oh dear, come on, see what I mean? It's so, and it's just a slow machine to play like this. Can you see? Because it likes to make lots of sound and music when you're doing things. It's not a nippy machine, but yeah, you can tell that it's credit based because these can be set to 30p, 50p, £1, or 25p, 50p, £1. Now, as you can see down there, this layout of fucking hell, super skill shot, bugger off. This layout as released was on 30p play. You can see that down there. I've actually changed this to 25p because that's how I remember it. But on 30p, you had to do the equivalent number of credits. So it wasn't that you just lost 32 quid on 30p play. You had to lose the same number of credits, which I can't work out in my head and play and talk at the same time. But whatever 32 quid's worth of credits would be at... Oh, why did I even do that? I've completely lost my train of thought now. So yeah, I'm sure you get the message. £32 worth of credits at 25p. So however many credits that would be, you had to get through that many at 30p. Fucking hell, we got there in the end. Blooming it. Right. Okay, I think I'm coming down with a cold or something. My voice sounds a bit croaky. I'm going to blame it on coming down with a cold. Oh, jeez. The other problem I think with this machine was that it was pretty obvious that there was something going on with it because it was so flat profile most of the time, and you know you could force it out for a jackpot or a mega streak, and I think some people did just force these. If they didn't know the method, they just forced them. So when you came along and took like a mega streak out of it and a £70 box out of it and a £50 box out of it in succession, it became pretty obvious to the interested observer that there was something going on. And in one of the pubs that had them here, the machine was sat, it was a take it or leave it, it wasn't a count your cash. The machine was sat right next to the bar, and the barman was taking a very, very keen interest in what I was doing. I don't know if he played it or his mates who came in played it, but he was obviously aware that it was doing things differently for me that it wasn't doing for other people, to the extent that he started to get quite blatant about the fact that he was just stood at the end of the bar watching the machine. So when it came to the kind of bits that kind of constitute the trick, if you will, I would literally just stand there and pretend to be fucking about on my phone or drink my drink or something like that, and I'd wait until he went through to the other bar to go and serve someone, and then do the bits that actually maybe constitute the trick, which is the bit that I didn't want him to see. Because even if you just watch somebody doing this, it's obvious that you're not playing the machine properly, because you're not taking the feature, you're not taking wins, you're kind of doing everything wrong. So anyway, we are now, thank the Lord, we are now through those £32 worth of credits. And now, and this is the bit where I would wait for the barman to bugger off to the other bar to serve, we have now lost £32 on 25p play, which is the right number of credits to get through. So what we do now is we put another couple of quid in, and we go up to £1 stake. And this machine is going to be gagging now to get me on the board. It may put me on the board on the first spin, which I don't want. Believe it or not, you have to be precise to that degree. If I go on the board on the first spin on £1 play, the game can still go wrong. So I have to do it on the second spin. So in an ideal world, that happens. It spins in a 1, then you can just hold them all. And then this should be super skill shot or something similar. Not that it did me any good, I'd swear. Oh dear, right, okay. And you know what, I'm not even going to go lower than the 11 there, because it's amazing how much it likes to kill you, even when it doesn't matter. It'll go into the inside. That won't kill me. I'm confident that will not kill me. Yeah. Now, it's going to be happy, but it is not. This is not an invincible board. To activate red trail, I can't. That was the worst. That was absolutely the worst super skill shot ever. I really can't talk, film, and play at the same time. I've demonstrated that many times. Now, what we want to do here is get onto the inside board. Now, we don't want trail run. I really need to get into the inside board. Now, I already know, by the way, that it isn't Mega Streak in the box, because when I got that upgrade, when I got onto the, you see the prize up square here. This is where the title Flicky or Flicker comes from, by the way, is when you know it's Mega Streak in your box, it'll try and do a prize up on the £70 box, and you'll see it kind of twirl the LEDs round like it does when it's guaranteed. It should say more than fee. Yeah, okay. So obviously it can't upgrade a £70 box, but it'll do the little twirly effect like it is. And that means, if you see that little twirly effect, that means that you know it's Mega Streak in your box. And it didn't do it here. Now, all I'm doing here is I'm trying to get the boxes upgraded as much as I can with the prize ups, although I was never quite convinced it made any difference, to be absolutely honest. But the way I always did it was to play the board until it gets to the point where there's not much that it can do, apart from kill you. So I can still spin quite safely, but if you back it into a corner, I shouldn't have taken that actually. If you back it into a corner, it will actually kill you. This is not an invincible board. I'm actually playing for the game here. So that's what you want. Or I believe that's what I'm led to believe that's what you want. That you try and upgrade your boxes as much as you go. Oh dear, now that's slightly dangerous. Now it's still not going to kill me, because I've got quite a lot of super shots it can give me up at the top, but I could do with taking the game suit. Thought monster cash out, okay, it doesn't really matter. Ooh, that shouldn't kill me. Yeah, okay, it's still got shots it can give me, but make no mistake, if it's got nothing left to do apart from land on, £70 or Mega Streak, it will kill me. I'm not going to gamble for that, because it's not. Oh, so there we are. We've got prize ads. Can gamble on that safely. Okay, it's not really... And I think this should be a £70 box. It's happy enough to be a... Oh, I should have gambled then. Right, okay, you know what? We're going to take the game at this point. And I'm hoping that this is the £70 box. It's happy enough to be the £70 box. Yeah, there goes the Mega Streak. We knew it wasn't the Mega Streak. But this should be a £70 box. He said confidently. I think that's 70. Should be a... Oh! You absolute motherfucker! Jesus, it was so happy I thought that would be a £70 box. Should have taken the offer. Really, really, really thought that was going to be the £70 box. Okay, now, what I have to do now is cycle around again. So, in the wild now, not going to be any repeat there. So what you do in the wild is you go right back to the start. So you put £9 back in, you go to 25p, and then you're just trying to get on the board. We just want it to be feature happy. Yeah, I can't believe that wasn't a £70 box. Really, really surprised that wasn't a £70 box. And the sort of problem is here as well that the boxes never get bigger. So I can cycle around, but it's not going to cycle up to a £70 box. So the best case scenario here really is that it's going to be a £50 box again. Tight bugger. Right, you don't need to see this because I am just going to now play a total of £32 through it. On 25p ago. So I will resume this video when I've lost this £9 plus another £23 for a total of another 32 quid back in on 25p ago. I'll pick it back up at the £1 game. Okay, here we are coming down to the last few. I remember now how slow they were to do these things. Even out in the wild, they were slow. So that's the last few credits there on 25p ago. So do the same thing again, put a couple of quid in, go up to £1 to go, and we want the board on the second credit. Oh, sometimes it's a real pain in the arse and it wants an extra one. No, there we are, it's done it. Yeah, I've forgotten that super skill stop was actually quite slow. I kind of preempted it on the first one. So let's see. Now, experience teaches you on this that the box never, or certainly my experience rather, was that the box never got bigger. So from a 50, the only way is down really to a 35 box, unless I can get a finish out of it. So let's just land on a, hopefully we'll land on a prize up, and then we can see. I can't imagine that the box will flicker now, because I never, ever, ever had the box get bigger. From one cycled, it only ever went down. So the general rule of thumb that I worked on was at maximum happiness, you could have Mega Streak in your box, then you could cycle it round again, and it could... Oh, so it's actually ready to do an invincible board, look. Well, there you are. I think I got it a little bit too happy, you know. So it should put Mega Streak in the box. I assume it will anyway. And we'll see what the Mega Streak goes for. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take this down to, I'll take this down to Mega Streak, take the Mega Streak, and then cycle it round again. There we are. So that's 70 quid. Presumably it didn't go past very often, but the state this is in, it might go past on this one. I think I've got this machine into quite an unnatural state, and of course the other problem is it's just not getting played like it would in the pub or an arcade. I mean, I tried to do a bit of munter play before I started this video, but I may have slightly over-egged the pudding in getting it happy. I think this was capped at 105. I don't think the Mega ever did more than 105 on these. But my feeling with these machines is that Barcrest really wanted to make a very flat profile, sort of friendly fruit machine that just couldn't go too crazy. It didn't really store value up for a streak or anything like that. Like I say, it was almost all. The only time it would not be boarding was if somebody had done it. So I don't know whether this method then was a facet of that they kind of did some oversight that this method was in there, but or whether it was deliberate. We shall never know. Is it going to go? Let's collect it and then see if it. Oh, I'll have to put a pound in, see if it goes on, won't I? So let's put a pound in. Nope, hasn't gone on. Okay then. So what I'm going to do. God help me. I do this so you don't have to. I'm going to cycle it round again with another. I'm sure it'll be boarding, so I'll get on the board. I'll put another. You know the score. I'll see you in 32 quid. And here we are again, coming down to the last few credits. It is actually noticeably a lot less happy now. It hasn't been chucking the hints and the mega hints and all that kind of stuff at me. So that's £32 in credits gone. Put another couple of quid in, and again we're just trying to get on the board from the second credit onwards, not the first credit. Nope. There we are, perfect. Sorry, I banged in my mechanical keyboard here, far too hard. I should have just got numbers in view there, that was stupid. Super skill shot will do though. There we are. Now then, maybe that invincible board was a little bit of an anomaly, because this should, I think, now really be I'm not going to risk a lower than that, because I have, out in the wild, I've gone lower than that on a prize up, or the equivalent square on take it or leave it, and yeah, it killed me. So, and then it can take another 2 or 3 quid to get onto the back on the board, so we won't do that. I should land on one naturally, but I think if I had to have a bet on it, I would say that this would be a £35 box. But I was made to look stupid on the last 2 cycles, so who knows. Haven't landed on any prize ups yet. Oh, eliminate that. That's the one you really don't want, because that gives you less spins on the board, because it gets you closer to it kind of getting into a corner where it will actually kill you off. So haven't landed on a single prize up here. So I've still got a basic unupgraded game. I'm confident it won't kill me, because there's still plenty of stuff for it to, he says, as it eliminates. That should now be telling me what the county cash will be, or it should be bigger than. Guaranteed more than 25. So that's a 35 box right there, isn't it? I unless this is doing something that it never, ever, ever did in the wild, and it's gone up to a 70 or a Mega Street box, that says to me that it's the £35 box. It's not upgrading them either. I don't think it will, to be honest. I don't think it's going to upgrade them. Which means that the best I can hope for now is the finish, which is where it leaves the Mega Streak or the 70 and the 35. And then for the final offer. And because I know it's the 35, I would take the offer on that. Yeah, it's not upgrading those other boxes at all, is it? I think we may as well... Oh, shit. I don't think I've pushed it too far. Yeah, okay. That's a shot across the bows. That's saying you should take the game. I am betting my life that it's a £35 box. So I'm just hoping for the finish here. I'm hoping that it leaves Mega and 70. Oh, sorry, Mega or 70 and the 35. And then I will take the offer on that. Okay, it's looking good for it. Unless it makes a complete... Oh, no. Ah! And that's 35 in the box. Right, that's it now. Once it goes down to a 35 box, there's really no point going round again. And because, as I said, the box value never goes up. The best I ever had, I think, in the wild, I did have the full lot. Got a mega first, 70 the next cycle round, 50 the next cycle round. You can go safely one more after a 50, and you are guaranteed to get at least 35 in your box. But there's no point going round again after a 35 because it can. It's never going to go back up. If it doesn't board, then you've lost £9. You can go round again, I suppose, and hope that it will do the finish. In fact, for the sake of this video, I'm going to go round again and see if I get the finish. And it's the finish that can actually stop it boarding. If you go round again and take the offer when it's got a mega and a 35, you can then, because it's a 50, I think it's a £50 offer at that point, which you take, and that is the thing which can actually stop it boarding within £9, I believe. So I'm sure it'll be boarding within £9. I'm going to go round again. I'll see you in another £32. Now, just for the record, it did go £8 worth of credits and then just spun in a quid, which is almost like the minimum level of happiness where it will still actually board. That's basically one cycle away from not boarding. So there's absolutely no doubt that it's going to be a £35 box. The only question is whether I can get the finish. I'll be back in £23. So here we are coming to the end of the credits. We all know the score by now. We put another couple of quid in. Go up to £1 to go. Is there a 1 up there? No. There we are, perfect. Oh, there we are, that'll put us up, but yeah, it's really not quite as happy now. Now, this is absolutely 100% guaranteed a £35 box. I am just playing for the feature. I wouldn't generally bother doing this in the wild, to be honest. It didn't happen very often, so there we are. Let's get in. So it does make you wonder if I mean, there's no real value in. Oh, I should have taken prize up then. Move in. Pressing all the wrong buttons, but I don't think it matters. To me, there's just no point. Upgrading the boxes here because it is going to be a £35 box and it's always going to make sure that it's got a £35 box to give me. So really, I may as well just open the game and then take it. So, and the point, by the way, I can't remember if I even said this, the point of doing that £32 at 25p and then getting the board on the second credit and £1 or more means that you are guaranteed to get £35 at least in your box. I did once muck up. I was busy chatting to my brother and drinking my beer, and I went into the board on the first spin on on £1 a go, and it stiffed me with a £20 box. And it could also stiff you with a £20 box if you missed any of your credits on 25p. You had to be absolutely exact. It was £32 on 25p, and then the board on the second spin or more on £1 to go, and that was what guaranteed the £35 box. If anything less, and it could and would stiff you with a £20 box. So that's why you had to be so precise. See, notice how it's keeping that 30. There's always going to be a £35 box there because that's what it's going to be. But I suppose it's probably worth getting them. I mean, the more that are upgraded, technically speaking, or theoretically speaking, rather, the more likely you are to get the finish. But I always personally thought that it would just do the eliminations however it wanted to make sure that it either gave you the finish or it didn't give you the finish, irrespective of how you'd upgraded the boxes or not. That was always my feeling about it. But at the same time, I could never quite resist getting them upgraded as far as I possibly could before I thought it was going to kill me. Move in, we'll have a move in there. Okay, not much left now. I think if it gives me a move out here, I might just take the game. Hefty blood bank out there. When it gives me a move out, I will just take the game because it's. I mean, I can't see upgrading the boxes beyond that much further now. And there's not much left to shoot out. There we are. We're just going to take the game there, I think. Yeah, you know what? We will take the game there. We know that it's going to go down to a £35 box. It's just whether or not we can get the finish. And I think it's 50 quid. If it goes down to 70 or mega and 35, yeah. So that's what we're hoping for is these fellas here. Okay, possible. Is it possible? Still possible. Oh, yeah. And 30. So that's it. That's the flicker. They could be all right earners. Let's collect that. And how have I done here? I'm 54 quid up. To be honest with you, that was usually about right for a good result on the real thing. So if you think about it, in the simplest possible terms to think about this method, you are basically guaranteeing yourself a £35 box for £35 in, which is where, you know, it's effectively a no-lose gamble in that regards. But your profit per cycle is only what you get above that. So if you get a £50 box, it's 15 quid. If you get a £70 box, it's 25 quid. And obviously if you can go around more than once, though, those figures then add up. But yeah, generally speaking, 50, 60 quid up was a good result on one of these. So that's about commensurate with where I would find myself with a good result on the real thing. But if you think I had two locally which were good earners for quite a while, and I was, you know, regularly walking away sort of 30 to 50 pounds up from both of them on a night out, and I had them to myself for quite a while. Anyway, this video has gone on for far too long already. So that was the flickies or the flickers. Played a little bit unusually because of it's not quite in a normal state, I think, because of the way I've played it in the emulator. I'll be back next time. I am intending to go back to an old machine and possibly a few older machines now for the next few videos, because we've had a few new machines for the first few videos. But anyway, there you go. That's the flickies. I will see you next time.